How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We just had some great news for cryptocurrency holders. Also, I do want to cover where Bitcoin is at right now and some other news from other cryptos. Now, if you guys don't mind, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I really do appreciate that. So before we go any further, I do want to thank today's show sponsor, Sapiency. So they are the next generation community where you can actually tokenize yourself. So they say Sarah's an influencer. She has over 100K subscribers on YouTube and she's TikTok famous. She also wants to follow her dreams and devote full time to her passion. So she issues 21 million Sarah tokens and then she can sell part of it and raise some capital. So this is a way to tokenize yourself and give yourself a market cap essentially. Now, of course, with all these, you have to be careful because this is very early on. They're having their initial exchange offering over on Kanga exchange here in a few days. And I'll put a link to their website underneath the video, but they are fully doxed, which I always like to see. You can go check them out on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. So that is a good sign. And they are powered by Polygon. They have a smaller presence on Twitter, but it is growing. And they did just become a gold sponsor of Tencent, which is a pretty large Twitter following with about 90K followers. So definitely check it out underneath the video if you are interested. So Bitcoin is looking very strong right now, along with some other cryptos popping up over the last couple hours, especially if you look about 12 hours ago, we were significantly down from where we are now. Now, what is actually happening with Bitcoin? Well, we have the lowest amount on exchanges that we've had in 3 years. So a lot of larger companies and probably some private companies are buying over the counter, which doesn't really push up the price. So sometimes you'll see that there's less on exchanges, but the price doesn't really go up. That's because people are buying it over the counter, basically a transaction without having to buy and sell. It's pretty much just transferring it over for cash. But that in the long term still decreases the supply and will push up the price eventually when there is a supply shock. Now, this chart doesn't exactly show this recent bump. So we fell about $3,000 in a day, and we did see about 30,000 Bitcoin going back on exchanges, which happens every so often when there is fear in the market. Now, who is actually selling then? If we're looking so strong, who is selling right now? Well, it's the short-term holders. So looking at the short-term holder SOPR, so basically showing, hey, if it's over 1, it implies that people are selling at a profit. If it's under 1, then people are selling at a loss. And people that are selling at a loss. They most likely bought around here just a few weeks ago and now are getting scared and selling. It's not the people that have been holding for a long time that are worried right now. It's the short-term hands, it seems like. Now, where are we going from here, right? Some people like to make these projections. Well, based on the block since last Bitcoin halving, you can see that back in 2013, we had this pump up a little bit earlier. Then 2017, it was a little bit later. And this person's saying, hey, if we have the same trajectory based on price and then also based on blocks since halving, we should see a push up in price here pretty soon. They're saying, hey, we shouldn't have seen it yet because it keeps on getting pushed back and we're going to see it here probably pretty soon. And they're expecting us to go up in price a good amount. Now, we also have some other things that we can look at. TechDev shows the 12-hour charts here. He wants to see the yellow box hold, so basically 45,000-ish. 46,000. He doesn't want us to drop below that. Break the white line on RSI. So push back over here, which would push us around about 53,000 or so over the coming days, maybe 55,000 if we did it really quickly. And then reclaim 59 to 60 and then attack the all-time high. You can see that's what we did last time. We pumped up in price, very similar movement, very similar amount of movement, very similar drop, and then push up in price. Same thing here, and then push up in price, and then hit all-time highs. Hitting what 70,000 would have to be the all-time high essentially. So that is fantastic. Knowing what we're expecting or what we could see in the future, but what's happening now? So CPI data came in, and it's worse than expected. It was actually 0.8% higher than what we expected. We're at 6.8% over the last year and is the highest number that we've seen in 40 years. So if that doesn't show you that you need some hedge against inflation, whether it's real estate stocks, Bitcoin, I don't know what does. because right now sitting on your dollars is a terrible decision. And it seems like every single month we're coming in with higher numbers than people expect. So when we saw this, we actually saw Bitcoin jump in price. Now we could always see it fall. We could always see all cryptos fall again because, we're just kind of ranging right now. But we rose expecting this. We rose going into the data. And then as soon as it dropped at 8:30, we spiked up pretty significantly, about $500 to $1,000, depending on how long you were looking here. So that is the great news for cryptocurrency investors. We saw a very high CPI data reading, which again, some people say, hey, that just means we're more likely to raise rates and then higher speculation assets are going to go down in price. But if you're looking long-term on Bitcoin, that is one of the reasons that people buy it. And we do have to remember, as time goes on, people will keep on throwing money at crypto to make it better, to make it more accessible, and give you more options. And that's what Coinbase did yesterday. So they launched high interest DeFi yields to 70 countries. Now they're still not doing this in the US, but they are going to give rates that will help a lot of people save and make even more money. And hopefully this will happen in the US eventually, but it's not happening now. Now some altcoin news. Solana is apparently getting hit by a DDoS attack. So they're still online, but everything is taking longer. This is coming from Block Asset, an NFT platform on Solana. We are aware tokens are taking a long time to distribute. The Solana chain is being overloaded with DDoS attacks and have been clogged the network, causing delays. So they have not talked about this. Solana hasn't, the Solana Foundation, but it does seem like everything's getting clogged up. So in case you hate Ethereum, this might be one good reason to like Ethereum. It's less likely to get attacked. Now Solana has had this happen before. This happened just a few months ago for Solana, and it crashed because of it. They spiked to 400,000 transactions per second, crashing the system. And they said that they were going to work on what happened here so that it didn't happen again. But if we see something similar, I think it I don't think it's a good thing for Solana if they crash again. It just shows that they are more likely to have this happen in the future. Now, 400,000 transactions per second is insane because that is higher than they were even expecting to be able to transact. But it took that many transactions for them to crash last time. So the first time, I think it was almost a good sign because they could handle so many transactions. But unless they just come in and they say, oh yeah, we fell down after 1 million transactions per second. I think the fact is, if they crash again, that will be a blemish for sure on their crypto. Now, one other big piece of news, Microsoft leads startup Palm NFT Studios with a $27 million Series B round. They say, we envision programs that mint millions of NFTs with utility social objects that can connect communities, drive engagement, and reward true fans. We're grateful for incredible partners like M12 that share the vision. So M12 is that Microsoft venture fund. So that just shows, hey, even big players are still getting into crypto. They're just doing it in different ways that we don't have access to. They're not buying cryptos because it would blemish their balance sheet, and the volatility might be a little bit high depending on which ones they're looking at, but they are still trying to invest strategically in the industry. They're not doing that if they think it's going to be gone tomorrow. Let me know what you think about the CPI data. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, thank you to Sapiency. You can check out their information under the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.